Hi grades 4, so let's get started on our math lesson for Tuesday, April the 19th. And today we have another practice, so practice 2E in your textbooks. And you should open your pages to page 63. Okay, so just like I did in our previous lesson where I took you through each word problem, and when it was two-part word problem, I did the first part with you, and I told you what you need to do for the second part. Then you had to go ahead and complete that part on your own, and then you just went back and checked your answers from your answer key that I gave you in your package. So you're going to do the same thing for today. We are going to get started on our practice 2E, and there are 8 word problem questions. I'll take you through each one of them, and then it will be your job to complete the work on your own. So if it's a 2-part problem, I'll do the first part, you'll do the second part. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's get started. Grab your spiral books, grab your math textbook, write today's date, write what practice it is that we're doing, just like in classroom, because I do not like it when there's no date and when we don't know what we're doing, because then when you have to go back and if I ask you, did you finish 2E? You have no idea what's happening because you didn't write anywhere at the top that it's practice 2E. Okay, so it's good to be organized. So let's get started. So our first question is, Steve used 8 cans of paint to paint his home. Each can contained 5.5 liters of paint. How much paint did he use all together? Okay, so let's get started and let's see what is it that we need to do. Okay, so grades 4, I'm going to do our questions today over on our whiteboard. Okay, so let's get started and write today's date. So it's Tuesday, April the 19th, 2021. Okay, so let's get to our first question. So we know that 1 can, right? We know that 1 can equals, because it says 5.5 liters, right? In the question, it says Steve used 8 cans of paint to paint his house. How much, each can contained 5.5 liters of paint. How much paint did he use all together? Okay, so each can contained this much. 8 cans, would it be more or less? In 1 can, we have 5.5. In 8 cans, it would obviously be more, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to do 8 times 5.5. So go ahead and you're going to multiply 5.5 times 8. That's your first question, okay? In your word problem, 2E. This is what you need to do. They need to find out how much paint would there be in, how much paint did he use all together, okay? So once you find your answer, grades 4, you do have the answer key, right? So once you find it out, you will write down he used however much he used. Does that make sense? So this was question 1, practice 2E. So practice there. Okay, practice 2E. Once you have your answer, you're going to write down your statement, as in like he used however much he used. Okay, all paint all together. Does that make sense? Once you're done, please go back and check your answer. Now let's go ahead and let's do our next one. Okay, question 2. So question 2 says, Mrs. Bates weighs 47.6 kg. She is 4 times as heavy as her daughter. what is her daughter's weight? Okay, so Mrs. Bates weighs 47.6 kg. So we are going to, she weighs 4 times as much as her daughter. That means imagine if there were 4 daughters, that's how much she would weigh, okay? So we would do 47.6 divided by 4, okay? So that's what you need to do. So we would do this. So you would do your division symbol. There, okay? That's what you need to do for your question 2. You're going to divide 47.6 to 4. Again, once you're done and you have your quotient at the top, only and only then you can go and check your answer from the answer key grades 4, okay? And again, do not remember your final statement. It should be her daughter weighs, okay, so whatever answer you find out right from here. Okay, let's go to our question 3. And grades 4 at any point, if you feel like I'm going way too fast for you, always pause the video, move on to the next question, okay? Pause the video, watch it again, whatever it is that you need to do. For example, for this question, I told you that we need to divide, right? So if you think that I'm going too fast, just pause the video right there. Divide up your answer first, get the answer, check your answer from the answer key, then unpause the video and move on to third question. Okay, so let's move on to our third question. Grades 4, I hope you can see it proper. Okay, so let's go ahead to our question 3. A doll costs $4.95. A toy robot costs 3 times as much as the doll. Find the cost of the toy robot. Okay, so that means, so a doll costs how much? So a doll is equal $4.95, right? We need to find the cost of the robot. So they're saying a toy robot costs 3 times as much as the doll. That means imagine there were 3 dolls. 1, 2, 3. There were 3 dolls, and that's how much would, if there were 3 more dolls, that's how much a robot would weigh, right? So we go ahead and we do 4.95 times 3, right? Because they're saying that a robot costs 3 times as much. That means if we had 3 dolls, that's how much would one robot be. So robot is obviously more expensive, right? So we multiply. Okay, so so the cost of 1 doll equals the cost of, the cost of 3 dolls equals the cost of 1 robot. So we are going to multiply our 4.95, which is the cost of the doll, to 3. Now, once you get your answer, grades 4, remember that you need to go and check your answer from the answer key. And remember to write your sentence. So that would be the robot costs dollar something, right? Whatever you find out. Okay, that's our question 3. Let's move to question 4. So our question 4 is, 3 girls shared the cost of a birthday present equally. The birthday present costs $17.40. How much did each girl pay. So if one girl paid if all of them paid 17.40, how much would three girls, so how much did they each pay? So they combined this cost. All together they paid $17.40. So we are dividing the cost between how many girls? Three girls, right? So let's go ahead and let's see what do we need to do. So we are going to take the amount 17.40 and divide it with 3 because that's how many girls there are, right? 3 girls shared the cost. How much did each pay? So each of them would have paid less than 17. So because we are moving from bigger to smaller, we are going to divide it up. Okay? And remember, once you're done dividing, you're going to check your answer from the answer key. And remember to write your sentence, which would be each girl paid $, whatever it is that you find out. Okay, let's move on. So that was our question 4. Let's move on to our question 5. Okay, so question 5 is Mrs. Friedman bought 5 storybooks at $2.80 each. Mr. Friedman bought 5 storybooks at $2.80 each. He gave the cashier $20. How much change did he receive? Okay, so we are going to do, so there's 5 storybooks at $2.80 each. So that means if it's $2.80 each, 5 would be more or less? They would obviously be more, right? So let's go ahead, and that's our first step. Our first step is to find out, well, how much were those 5 storybooks? So 1 equals 280, 5 would equal 280 times 5, right? Now this is a 2-step problem. I'm gonna do this step with you. The next one you'll have to do on your own. Okay, so let's go ahead. 5 times 0 gives me 0. And we are going to do 5 times 8 gives me 40. So I'm going to put my 4 down, and I'm going to take my, I'm going to put my 0 down, and I'm going to take my 4 up at the top. Then 5 times 2 gives me 10 plus 4, don't forget your decimal, 14. So how much were the 5 storybooks? They were $14. So he gave the cashier, so far we know that he paid, so 5 storybooks were $14. And he gave the cashier how much? He gave the cashier $20, right? How much change should he get back? So $20 we are going to subtract 14, right? So that will be your answer. So whatever answer you get, because he gave the cashier, so we know that he got 5 storybooks for $14. He gave the cashier 20. How much should he get back? So $20, take away $14. So that will be your answer. Remember to write your statement. He received blank dollars for change, right? This was question 5. And again, this was part 1. Part 2 is you need to do the subtraction, okay? Once again, when you're done, you can go back and check your answer from the answer key grades 4. Let's move to question 6. Question 6 says, Marvin bought 5 meters of cloth at a sale. He gave the cashier $1.50 and received 15.25 change. Find the cost of 1 meter of cloth. Okay, so let's go ahead, and our first job is we are going to subtract $1.50 and what he gave the cashier what? $1.50. So let's go ahead, $1.50. Again, this is a 2-part problem. I'm going to do the first part with you. You'll do the second part on your own and check the answer. Okay, So our job is, we are going to first of all find out, well, how much did it cost him? Because he received how much for change? 15.25, right? So that's our first step. So let's go ahead. Since it's a 0, we cannot, so we're gonna borrow. We'll be left with 4 here. This will be 10, but 9, 10, we borrow again, 9, okay? So 10 take away 5 gives me 5, right? And then we have 9 take away 2, it gives me 7. Then I don't forget my decimal. I write that down. 9 take away 5 gives me 4. And 4 take away 1 gives me 3. So he paid $50. He received 15.25 back, which means he spent $34.75. That's the first part of the problem. Now the second part is we need to find out, well, if 1 unit, so we found out that 1 unit equals $34.75. We need to divide it by 5 because Marvin bought 5 meters of cloth, right? We need to find the cost of 1 meter of cloth. So let's go ahead and 1 meter of cloth, so 1 unit, so 34.75, we need to divide it by 5, right? We need to divide it by 5. So that's what you need to do. And once you're done dividing, you will find out 1 meter of cloth, how much does 1 meter of cloth cost? How much did 1 meter of cloth cost Mr. Marvin? Once you're done dividing 34.75 to 5, you will find out the cost of 1 meter of cloth. Remember to write down your sentence that 1 meter of cloth costs $, whatever quotient you get here, that's your answer. Okay, please go ahead and check your answer from the answer key before you move on to question 7. Okay, so let's read question 7. It says, Mary saved $25 in 5 days. She saved $4.60 a day in the first 4 days. How much did she save on the 5th day? So our first step is we are going to do 4.60 times 4. That's my first step to the problem. Grades 4, I would highly encourage you, when I do first part of the problem, you pause the video, try to do the first part on your own. For example, if I'm dividing, I want you to pause the video, try to do the first part on your own. So right now, what do you think the answer would be? So pause the video before you move on and see the answer here, okay? So let's go ahead and let's multiply. So 4 times 0 gives me 0. 4 times 6 gives me 24. So I write my 4 here. Remember my decimal point. I take the 2 over top. 4 times 4 gives me 16 plus 2 gives me 18. Okay, so far we know that in 4 days, so she would have saved $18.40. And so for the last day, how much she would have saved? So she would have saved 18.40, take away, sorry, $25, because that's how much she saved. 25 in 5 days, so that means in 4 days she saved 18.40. So let's find out, because they're asking us what did she save for the last day. So the 5th day, what did she do? So let's do $25, take away $18.40. And that would give us how much she saved on the 5th day. So this was our first part of the problem. Second part is we need to subtract $25 because that is how much she saved in 5 days. And we subtract the amount of 4 days, so which was 18.40. When you subtract it, you will find out what did she save for the 5th day. Okay, remember to write your sentence, which should be, she saved dollar blank the last day. Does that make sense? Okay, let's move on to our last question. So our last question says, 3 cups of tea and a glass of orange juice costs $4.40. Each cup of tea costs 0.65 cents. Find the cost of the glass of orange juice. Okay, so let's see. The cost of tea, so it is 0.65. And again, this is our question 8. Okay, 0.65 times 3, right? Because 3 cups of tea. And an orange juice costs 4.40 each cup of tea. So this is the cup of tea. And how many cups of tea are there? 3. So they're saying find the cost of the glass of orange juice. So we are going to multiply tea first to find out, well, how much is the tea? And then we'll find out how much is the orange juice, right? So first step, let's find out how much does the tea cost. So the tea would cost, 3 cups of tea would cost, let's multiply, 3 times 5 gives me 15. 3 times 6 gives me 18, plus 1 is 19. I don't forget my decimal. 3 times 0 gives me 0. Oh, sorry, no. 3 times 0 gives me 0, but I forgot to carry over the 19. So there's a 1 here. So 3 times 3 gives me 0, and I bring this 1 down. Okay, so 3 cups of tea cost us $1.95. Now, once we have this, we know that altogether, what did they pay? $4.40, out of which this is the cost of tea. So what would be the cost of orange juice? Well, we know that 3 cups of tea cost them $1.95. Whatever is the rest would be the price of orange juice. So we take the price all together that they've given us, which is $4.40, and we subtract the price of tea. There we go. That's the second part of the problem. We subtract it, and we will find out the price of 1 glass of orange juice. Once you do that, grades 4, please make sure you go back and check your answer on the answer key for practice 2E, question 8. Okay? So that is your math, and please remember your sentence, the glass of orange juice, or the glass of orange juice, yes, it costs dollar something blank, right? So this is your lesson. This is your math lesson for Tuesday, April the 19th. Please remember to complete all of your work. Remember your date at the top, and I will see you next time for a different math lesson. Bye.